Wow, this looks like fun. Cell organelles and structures and all kinds of cool stuff. Well, I hate the sound of my voice, so I think what I'm going to try to do is use GarageBand and start with a filter.
Okay, this is a picture of a cell, and I'm thinking it might be an animal cell because it's kind of circular, not boxy. I don't see any cell wall, and there's none of these green things in your chloroplast. So there's that boxy cell wall thing. Okay, here's the first question. This structure is never found in a prokaryotic cell. You know, it says cells there. Bad grammar. I'll change it. Yep, nucleus. Remember, eukaryotic cells have a nucleus, but prokaryotic cells do not have a nucleus. Okay, 2. This structure is made of cellulose found in a plant cell and gives the cell support and structure. Cell wall. And here actually is a kind of close personal look at what cellulose might look like. Cellulose ose. Whenever you see ose, you think of a carbohydrate, a sugar like fructose, glucose, sucrose, lactose, etc. And this is a complex sugar. This is basically fiber. So when you eat fiber, I said before, when you bite through a carrot, it goes crunch. Cellulose is what you're kind of biting through. And sometimes hemicellulose too. Number 3. It's pretty fun, huh? Most of the cell's genetic information, DNA, is found within this structure. And this is not a really tough one, but this would be the nucleus. So letter E, the nucleus. I say most because in reality, in this chloroplast and in the mitochondria, there's also a little bit of DNA there too. But that's a future story in a future class. Okay, 4. This structure is found in all cells and regulates what enters and leaves the cell. And that would be the cell membrane, letter G. And on here, it would be just inside the cell wall in the previous question. And when you looked at the onion cell, you couldn't really see it because it was so thin compared to the cell wall. However, with this picture, the cell membrane, it's much easier to pick out here, and so that you can see it surrounds the entire thing. And at some point in the future, you'll see that it's up here. It's made of this double layer of lipids, these are basically fats here, what lipids are. And there's also oftentimes proteins associated with them. I call them Quaker lollipops because they're a lollipop with 2 handles so you can share them. Number 5. This structure is often called the powerhouse of the cell, and it's the site of cellular respiration. Remember, respiration is a process which by all life changes their food and nutrients into energy that can be used. And in this case, that would be the mitochondria. In the mitochondria, these little blue things here, and all these little curves and nooks and crannies give it a lot more surface area. And here is the same thing in the animal cell. Again, mitochondria, mitochondria. Okay, this structure is where light energy is used to combine water and carbon dioxide to form sugar and release oxygen. Light, photosynthesis. I'm thinking that it's these green things here, which would be the chloroplasts. And these are only to be found in plant cells and in some protista, some certain types of green algae. I'm going to click here. 7. This is the internal fluid within a cell that surrounds the organelles. So that if you could take all the organelles out, take the chloroplast out, take the nucleus out, the Golgi, the ER, etc., you'd be left with this fluidy stuff, which is the cytoplasm. And cytoplasm is found in all cells, animals, plant, fungi, protista, prokaryotic, eukaryotic, the cell sap. And here's the animal cell with the same kind of thing. But again, it's probably easier to see on this one because there's more space here for things. It's not as jam-packed as that last picture. Okay, this structure is where photosynthesis occurs. I think I've seen this one before. And this would again, of course, be the chloroplast. And letter B again, nice and green, like the chlorophyll. K9, this is where proteins are manufactured in the cell, often associated with the ER. Remember, the ER stands for endoplasmic reticulum. And this is a toughie in terms of finding it on the diagram, that is. And of course, this would be the ribosomes. And the ribosomes are those little dotty things. There's a ribosome, and they're often associated with this endoplasmic reticulum. Now here's another picture which you don't actually have, but there would be the nucleus, and here would be an ER. Those little dotty things would be the ribosomes, and this would be considered rough ER. And here's one last one, and this kind of cool graphic here is actually taken from an electron microscope, and it's been altered to be colored. But all these little orange dots here would represent ribosomes in the cytoplasm. And 10, oh well, I guess I gave you the answer to that one. Oops. This structure packages and processes proteins before they're released by the cell. And gee, you think it might be the Golgi body? I think it might be the Golgi body. So here's letter A, the Golgi body. And if you look at the animal cell here, the Golgi body, they're also the same thing again. Oh, I guess I gave you that one. And that would be it. Gee, wasn't that fun?